All right, let's dive into a relationship that's literally thousands of years in the making. We're talking about India and Mongolia. This isn't just about diplomacy. It's a story that goes from ancient spiritual connections to a very modern strategic partnership. In this explainer, we're going to break down everything you as exam aspirants need to know to absolutely nail this topic. So let's get right into it. Okay, to really get a grip on the India-Mongolia dynamic, you have to understand these three key ideas. First, spiritual neighbor. This isn't just some poetic term. It perfectly captures their deep, ancient bond through Buddhism. Second, you have Mongolia's third neighbor policy. This is so important. It's their strategy to build strong relationships with countries beyond their two massive neighbors, Russia and China. And third, strategic partner. That's the official status they've had since 2015, and it signals a much deeper level of cooperation. So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with a core framework of the partnership, then journey back to its ancient roots. We'll map out the diplomatic timeline, break down all the pillars of their modern cooperation, check out the latest updates from 2025, and then wrap it all up with a rapid-fire revision section just for you. You know, the entire relationship is built on a really simple but powerful idea. And here's a fantastic mnemonic for your exams, something that will help you remember it easily. Just think of the 3Ds. And here they are. It's a brilliant way to frame the foundation. The first D is for democracy. They share common political values. The second D is for Dharma, that deep spiritual and cultural connection we talked about. And the third D? That's development, their modern partnership focused on helping each other grow. So remember, democracy, Dharma, and development, the 3Ds. Let's dig a little deeper into that Dharma pillar. This connection isn't something that just happened recently. No way. It's built on centuries of shared history. And the strongest link, the real bedrock, is Buddhism. This quote from former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee just says it all, doesn't it? It's not just about a shared religion. It's about a deep, mutual respect for shared culture and knowledge. Like how Mongolia preserves Sanskrit texts that were actually lost in India. It's a really special connection. And here's the thing. This connection was never passive. It was a real, active exchange. We had Indian monks traveling to Mongolia way back in the 3rd century BC. The legendary Nalanda University, it was a major hub for Mongolian scholars. And this legacy is alive and well today, with modern scholars working together and India even helping to reprint the sacred Mongolian conjure. Okay, so we have this ancient friendship. Now, let's fast forward a bit and see how it was made official in the modern era, leading up to the powerful strategic partnership we see today. If you look at this timeline, you see a steady, consistent story of friendship. 1955 is when they formally shook hands and established relations. Then in 61, a big moment. India really championed Mongolia's entry into the UN. But if you have to remember one date for your exam, circle 2015 in your mind. This was a total game changer. Prime Minister Modi became the first Indian PM to ever visit Mongolia, and that's when the relationship was officially upgraded to a strategic partnership under India's Act East policy. So, with that strong diplomatic foundation in place, the partnership today stands on several really solid pillars. We're talking defense, economics, and education. Now, in the defense space, there are two names you absolutely have to remember. The yearly bilateral exercise is called Nomadic Elephant, and the big multilateral exercise that Mongolia hosts where India takes part is Conquest. But it's not just about military drills. They also cooperate on border security and disaster management. And it's only getting deeper, with a new defense attaché and new training program started in 2025. Moving to the economic side of things, I want you to remember this number, $1.7 billion. It's a huge figure, and it represents the line of credit India provided for Mongolia's very first oil refinery. This oil refinery project? It's the absolute centerpiece of the development pillar in our 3D framework. This isn't just another project. It's a total game changer for Mongolia's energy security. I mean, it's set to cover about 80% of their fuel needs, and it's all being financed by an Indian line of credit. In fact, this is the single largest development project India is involved in anywhere in the world. Now, at first glance, this might just look like a table of numbers, but what's really fascinating is the story these numbers tell. See the difference between the columns? There's a pretty big trade imbalance. India imports a whole lot more from Mongolia, mostly raw materials like high-quality cashmere, than it exports. And what that tells you is that there's a huge opportunity for growth here. Okay, this is a crucial point. India is deeply invested in developing Mongolia's human resources. This is what we call capacity building. The key program to remember is ITEC. That's the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation Program. Through it, India offers 200 training slots every single year. Add another 50 scholarships through the ICCR, and you can see the commitment. Plus, they've set up key educational institutions named after Indian leaders, which really cements that bond. So let's bring it right up to the present. The presidential visit in October 2025 was a really big deal. It marked 70 years of diplomatic ties and a full decade of the strategic partnership. And that 2025 summit was absolutely packed with important results. A huge one for people-to-people connections was the announcement of free e-visas for Mongolians. Culturally, they deepened the bond even more with plans to send holy Buddhist relics. And looking at the economy, the focus is now expanding into exciting new areas like critical minerals, which are essential for all our modern tech. On the world stage, they both doubled down on their partnership for a free and open Indo-Pacific and for representing the global South. Okay, time for a rapid revision. Let's lock in everything we've talked about. This is your high-speed summary, designed to make sure you have the most important concepts, facts, and figures right at your fingertips for your exam. First, the key concepts. Make sure you can comfortably define spiritual neighbor and Mongolia's third neighbor policy. Remember, the strategic partnership was set up in 2015 as part of India's Act East policy, and it's all built on that 3D framework. You also need to be familiar with terms like line of credit, the global South, and the vision for the Indo-Pacific. These are your keywords. Next up, the hard numbers. The oil refinery, that's a $1.7 billion line of credit for a 1.5 million metric ton facility. Capacity building, 200 ITEC slots and 50 ICCR scholarships every year. The IT Center, a $20 million LOC. And the Sacred Mongolian Conjure project involves 108 volumes. These are the details that will make your answers stand out. And finally, don't forget the names of these key agreements and exercises. You could definitely get a direct question on them. The joint military exercise is Nomadic Elephant. The multilateral one is Conquest. And remember that the most recent summit in 2025 resulted in 10 brand new packs, covering everything from culture to mineral resources. So we'll leave you with this final thought. As Mongolia continues its delicate balancing act between Russia and China, its third neighbor relationship with India becomes more important than ever. The future of this partnership, especially in new areas like the hunt for critical minerals and the quest for energy security, is absolutely a key geopolitical story to keep your eyes on.